Hello and welcome. So today I want to talk to you about my August TBR. So I have picked a few books that I would like to get to in August, and I will say that I have not got to all the books that I was meant to read in July yet. So there's potential that there will be a book or two carried over, so we will see what happens, because in July I kind of did go a little bit rogue and read a few books that I really wanted to read. Dottie is just getting in the way, so say hello, Dottie, and then off you go. So yes, I have a few books, but I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic with the books because they're just getting a bit ridiculous. So I thought I would go through the physical books that I want to read this month, and then there are a few arcs that I need to read, so I will also mention those after and just talk you through the ones that I need to read next month. So we may as well get into it. They're in no particular order, so we'll just go from the start. So the first one is The Tenant by Freida McFadden. I actually picked this up in a book swap when I was in London. I was travelling to London for work, and this was in one of the hotel book swaps, so I picked this up. It was before I'd read other Freida McFadden, so I'd read The Housemaid and I really enjoyed that. Then I read the rest of the Housemaid series and did not enjoy any of those. And then I think it was The Teacher. I read The Teacher, absolutely hated it. But I have this, and I have the physical copy of it, and I have heard some people say that this one is okay. And because I find that Freida McFadden's books are really quick to read, I'm just thinking I'm going to read it and then I'm going to donate it. It's just, or see if any of my friends want to read it, but I will be reading and then I will not be keeping. So this one, I'm assuming, is about a tenant. I will read the synopsis. It says, Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as a VIP of marketing and unable to make the mortgage payments on the new brownstone he shares with his fiancée, he's desperate to make ends meet. Edna Whitney, beautiful, charming, down to earth, and looking for a room to rent. She's exactly what Blake's looking for. Or is she? Because something isn't quite right. The neighbours start treating Blake differently. The smell of decay permeates his home, no matter how hard he scrubs. Strange noises jar him awake in the middle of the night, and soon Blake fears someone knows his darkest secrets. Danger lives right at home, and by the time Blake realises it, it's far too late. The trap is already set. So I feel like it'll be fine. As I said, I can read a Freida McFadden pretty quickly. I will say her books are bingeable. I just find that it's a little bit predictable that it will be going one way most of the book and then it will flip. So they can be a little bit predictable, but I just thought it's taken up shelf space and it is a good palette cleanser. So this is one that I will read and then see if anyone I know wants to read it. I think I lent it to my granddad, and my granddad enjoyed it, so there's that. We have, if you have watched any of my other videos, most of them, not all at the moment, but most of them have one of these, and I'm sure people can guess where this is going. It's an Ellie Dean. So this is Shelter from the Storm. This is the 11th book in the Cliffhaven series. I am getting through one of these books a month because my grandmother gave me all of them. She had read them all, really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed them. They are palette cleansers again for me, and I just find them really comforting. So I'm trying to get through one a month. This is the 11th. I have already read the 10th for this month. So all of these books follow a family, with the sort of main character being Peggy Riley. She owns Beachview Boarding House, and all of her family are also around, and she has lodgers and people, evacuees, who come and live in the boarding house for one reason or another. And this is the 11th one, so I will read the synopsis, but it's like each one follows a different person who is in the boarding house for some reason. So this one says, it's 1943 and April Wilton is devastated when she is forced to leave Portsmouth and the Wrens, where she has found friendship, fulfilment and love. Rejected by her mother and facing an uncertain future, she travels to Cliffhaven. However, she carries with her a secret one that could change her life forever? Can the warmth and support of Peggy Riley and those at Beechview boarding house heal the wounds of April's past and bring her hope amid this time of turmoil? So yes, this is someone travelling to Cliffhaven to stay at the boarding house, and there is always some kind of drama, some kind of thing that happens which keeps the story going. This one seems longer than the others that I have been reading recently. So this is 553 pages. The ones that I've been reading recently, so they were about 350 to 400 pages long. Then they started getting a bit longer to 500 plus, and then they started getting smaller again, but this one is another longer one. So yes, I'm looking forward to getting into this one. I think I still have at least another 5 to 7 on the shelf to read, so it's just helping clear some space on the ever-growing TBR shelf, which has now overflown to this shelf because these books here are books that I picked up recently that I need to film a haul for. The next book is one that I picked up when I went to London last year, and that is The Full Moon Coffee Shop by Maya Mochizuki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so apologies if not. So I actually picked this up when I went to Daunt Books for the first time. So my friend and I went to Daunt Books and we both picked up a book while we were there just to sort of commemorate, and this is the one I picked up. And I think it was October. It might not have been last year, it might have been the year before, now that I'm thinking about it. I can't remember. Anyway, I picked this up and I haven't got around to it, and I just thought August is just the perfect time to finally pick it up. So this one says, under the glittering full moon, a Kyoto coffee shop appears only where and when it's needed. It's run by talking cats serving delicious desserts and age-old astrological wisdom. This coffee shop attracts customers who have lost their way in life, from a failed video game developer to a romantically challenged TV director. In the middle of the night, the feline guides will set everyone on their determined paths. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into it. It doesn't seem to be as long, like it's only 280 pages, but there's also quite big margins. So I think this will be a quick read. I read the Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I've read quite a few of those now. The first one I loved, but then they started to get very repetitive. So I'm hoping that that's not the case with this one, because I do feel like a lot of people have said about other sort of healing fiction that they can get a little bit repetitive. But this one has got cats on it and it's about a coffee shop. I couldn't resist. Again, I think this will be quite a quick read. I have definitely gone for a little bit of a shorter, smaller, more manageable TBR, because I keep putting too much on my monthly TBRs and then just not actually getting to them. So I'm trying to be realistic. The next book is Filthy Rich Vampire for Eternity by Geneva Lee. This is the 4th and final book in the Filthy Rich Vampire series. I have read all of the others, and so I just need to read this one to complete the series. Now, because it's part of a series, I can't read the actual synopsis on the back of this, so I will just kind of tell you about the first one. So this is about the main character, Thea, and she is a cellist. She is currently studying and playing her cello, and on the side, to make a little bit of money because her mother is sick, she plays at this really fancy venue. Now, one day she is at work at this really fancy place. There's a party happening for some really rich people. She ends up going to the bathroom and basically finds out that vampires are real, and it is vampires that are hosting this party. Now, Julian is the male main character, and he is a vampire, of course, and he finds Thea and tries to erase the memory from her mind of that vampires exist. He can't do that, so he ends up trying to protect her and keeps her, and they end up like fake dating for a while, which then turns into real dating. And obviously this is the 4th book in the series, so whole premise does expand quite a lot from there. I thought the end of the last book was really good, and I think it wrapped everything up quite nicely, but there is this final installment, so I will read it just to close it all out. They were very middle of the road for me personally, but I had bought the whole series before starting them, which I do not recommend doing. So yeah, I will read them all, and then I may see if anyone I know is interested in them and share them. I then have one that I picked up from the local book box, and that is The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. I'm so bad at pronouncing names, so please, if you can help in any way, please do. But it's also really bad when you're trying to not only read it but also say it. And I've seen this around quite a lot, so I thought I would give this a go. As I said, I picked it up out of the book box, so if it's not one that's personally for me, I will just pop it back into the book box. I've had it for a little while, so I really thought I should get to it. So this one says it's 1974. Two teenagers from opposite sides of a divided Cyprus meet at a tavern in the city they both call home. The tavern is the only place that Kotos, who is Greek, and Daphne, who is Turkish, can meet in secret, hidden beneath the leaves of a fig tree growing through the roof of the tavern. This tree will witness their hushed, happy meeting and will be there when the war breaks out and the teenagers vanish. Decades later in North London, 16-year-old Ada has never visited the island where her parents were born. She seeks to untangle years of her family's silence, but the only connection she has to the land of her ancestors is a big fig tree growing in the back garden of her home. So yeah, it just sounds really interesting. So, and I know it was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2022 and shortlisted for the Costa Novel Award. I know quite a few people who have read and enjoyed this, so I thought I would give it a go. It's a little bit different to what I would usually pick up, but I also love expanding and reading things that aren't necessarily ones that I would normally gravitate towards. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I then have something a little bit different, and that is a manga. So this is Cat Gamer Volume 2, and I have read Volume 1 a little while ago. I have Volume 2 and I have Volume 3, and I have really enjoyed the first one. I did pick these up in my local Forbidden Planet, but they don't seem to be stocking them anymore, which is really annoying because they used to do the 3 for 2 deal. So I think I might have to find somewhere else to pick them up, which is a bit of a pain. I did have a look in Waterstones, and now Waterstones doesn't seem to have them either. I might be able to order them in, but I might talk to Forbidden Planet and see if I can get them. But essentially, this is about a woman who is at work, and I think it's like the security guard comes in and basically says that he's found a kitten outside. Is anyone interested in taking this kitten home? Now, she does not know anything about cats at all. She is a gamer. She's very sort of like independent. She just lives on her own and just likes to game. But she ends up taking this cat home, and she uses her knowledge from games to help her to understand this cat and get close to this cat. And it's just really wholesome and really cute. And also the cat on the front reminded me of Dottie, so I had to pick it. But Dottie is being a real menace today. She must know. She's like, you're filming, so I'm just going to run and jump on everything. But yes, she does look like the cat on the front. But yes, I just want to get back into manga. I've got quite a few other series that I've also been reading, but yes, I will continue on with this, and then hopefully I'll be able to pick more of them up soon. So those are all the physical books that I have that I want to read, but I also do have a couple of arcs that I need to get to, so I will mention those as well. The first arc that I have that I need to read in August is Halloween Town by Joss Wood, and this is due to be released on the 13th of August, so I do need to read this in the first half of the month. This is the second book in a series. It's the second book of the Halloween Town series. Now, I did request this book at the same time as Summerween, which I read earlier this month and did not enjoy, but unfortunately I had already requested this one, so I requested them both at the same time because the covers and the descriptions really called out to me. And unfortunately I didn't enjoy the first, but it was quite a quick read, and I feel like it's only fair that I do read this one. So I will be reading it and I will be rating it on NetGalley, but I don't think I will be mentioning it much more unless it is a lot better than the first one. And I'm really hoping that that's the case, because this one was the one that I was really intrigued about more so than the first one. But when I realised it was a series, I selected both of them. So this says, it's always spooky season here. Poppy McCaster was supposed to be getting married, not climbing out of the bathroom window in her wedding dress and fleeing to the only place she's ever fully felt like herself. The small town she grew up in, where Halloween lasts all year. When she gets there, home isn't waiting for Poppy the way she imagined. Her grandparents' beloved inn is now owned by Tom Sheffield, who just happens to be her childhood hero, her ex-fiance's brooding older brother, and the last man on earth she should be fantasizing about. Because in a town full of pumpkins, cozy traditions, and Halloween magic, falling in love might be the most scary thing of all. And it just sounded really interesting, but I didn't get on with the first book in this series. We did meet Poppy in the first book and she was interesting. So I'm really hoping that this one will be different and a little bit better. So I will be reading it so that I can get that off my NetGalley shelf, because I think it's really important that you should still do that. And sometimes books in series that are not always exactly the same. So yeah, that is being published on the 13th of August. And the next one is the Harvest Moon Cafe, and that is being published on the 25th of August, and that is by Farah Halliwell. And this one was actually one that I was invited to review. It is still a NetGalley R, but it was Hodder and Slough. They did like a little poll on their newsletter about naming this book, and then I think people who voted, I'm not sure if it went out to everybody on the newsletter anyway, but it was basically like, oh, you guys voted for the title of this, so here's the book on NetGalley. And I thought it sounded really interesting anyway, and it's sort of cozy autumn vibes, which is absolutely my kind of book. So I have got this, and that is to be, I can't remember if I said, published on the 25th of August. And the description says, Blair Briarwood's pumpkin spice lattes are sprinkled with cinnamon and a dash of magic, the secret ingredient that keeps the Harvest Moon Cafe glowing through every autumn morning, until her ex-boyfriend moves back to town and opens a rival cafe right next door. Blair has enough on her plate trying to keep youngest sisters Belinda and Bianca from revealing their witchy powers to the residents of Moonbeam Hollow. He definitely doesn't have time for Luke Caldwell's annoying handsome smirk and perfect new cafe, or the fiery sparks beneath their fierce rivalry he insists are still crackling between them. This town simply isn't big enough for two pumpkin spice rivals, but when a series of strange magical disturbances threaten the beloved Fall Harvest Festival, Blair and Luke are thrown together again. To save her home, Blair must protect her family's bewitching secret, outbrew her ex, and unravel the curse that Luke's return seems to have stirred. But as secrets flow and spells are cast, will Blair learn that letting herself fall for her first love is the ingredient she's been missing all along? And it says, this is a totally cozy and steamy romance. It's perfect for a brisk autumn day. Fans of Laurie Gilmore, Practical Magic, Rewitched, and the X-Hex. And those are all books that I have really enjoyed. So I do think it will be a little bit of a cheesy one, but sometimes that is exactly what you need. And with the heat that we have been having, I am craving something cozy and autumnal. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. And the cover is super cute. I then have one final book that is to be released in August, and that is Rider of Dragons by A.T. Qureshi, and that is due to be released on the 27th of August. So again, these are all quite close together and ones that I really need to read. I have read, so this is the same author who has written the Baby Dragon Cafe, Bookshop, and others. I think there's one more, and it's totally, there's the cafe, the bookshop, and the bakery. Yes, so it is the same author, and I have also read another one of her books and I really enjoyed that one too. So when I saw this come up, I had to give it a go. And this one is apparently part of a series, so great. She wants to race dragons. Genevieve's family is dead set against her joining the deadly dragon races, but she won't let them stop her. He's the trainer she doesn't want, but needs. Without her family's money, nobody will train her. Desperate for help, she agrees to a terrible deal. Qureshi, an illegal member of a dragon poaching gang, will train her to win the races if she agrees to give him her prize money. Every race could be their last. The dragon races aren't just about being the fastest. In these races, sabotage, attack, and all other violence aren't just allowed, they're encouraged. The devastatingly handsome Qureshi will teach her to be cunning and cruel. Genevieve will be forced to answer a devastating question. To win, is she willing to lose everything? And that just sounds really, really fun. Anything with dragons, and I am in. So those are 3 arcs that I really need to read this month, which is why my physical TBR is a little bit shorter, but also I just want to be realistic with what I'm able to read, and I do, as I have said, potentially will have some books from July that will be carrying over, so I just don't want to overwhelm myself with books because it's meant to be fun. And even so, I'm not strict with it. If I don't want to, when I come to it, if there's other books that I want to read instead, I will allow myself to read other books, which is what I did in July. I deviated from my TBR a little bit. So yes, I want to get through all these books and I do want to read them all, but sometimes it's just not the right mood. So yes, I'm looking forward to getting to these books this month. So please let me know if you have read and enjoyed any of these books, or if you're looking forward to any of the arcs that I have mentioned. Please leave a comment down below and tell me which one you think I should prioritize. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe if you would like to see more. And as always, thank you so much for watching.